All right. This is Let's Talk. I'm your host, George Zayas. All right, we're here live backstage. I got a special guest today. Special guest joining me today. We want to thank you for joining us here on Let's Talk. We had a little bit of a mishap before, but we got Jason FELTS from California in the house. Let me tell you about this young man. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got a business going on. He works with bands. He's out from California. He's got a really cool website with some clothes. I mean, the guy is amazing. I want to welcome Jason FELTS to the broadcast. Jason,
hey, how's it going? Hey George, how are you doing? I can hear I can still hear your voice is like digitizing.
Okay.
There we go. It's much better. There you
go. Yeah, that's applause. We're getting applause from the audience.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason, welcome to Let's Talk, man. How are you, man?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Still coming through like robotic.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if we can get that fixed. All right. Not sure why. All right. Are we sounding any clearer?
How about talking and I can let me see.
All right, let's see.
No, it's clear. I can hear you. I can understand you, but there is like a reverb behind it.
Okay. What about now? What about now?
Keep going.
All right. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's on my.
Yeah, you think? All right. Can you understand me though? Are you getting like? Are you getting echo?
Slight echo. It's more like reverb. It's
Okay.
I can understand you.
All right. Well, you sound perfectly fine on this end. Let's continue with the show, man. I want to introduce you to the audience. We got Jason FELTS, man. Listen, welcome, man. I'm happy you're here. Hopefully everybody can hear you fine. I'm happy you're here on the show today. I wanted to showcase you because you're a very interesting man. I met you maybe about a couple of weeks ago, right? I was helping you out with some stuff. You were doing some live broadcasting stuff, and you've worked with some bands out in California. You also have a website. You're a clothing designer. I mean, you're a jack of all trades, and you also help out businesses that are struggling. And you're relatively a young man, and so I'm really impressed. I wanted to bring you on to showcase who you are. So thank you for joining me here, man.
No, thanks for having me.
No problem. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I thought you were originally from what was it, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia?
It was Pittsburgh is how we discussed it, but I'm actually from Indiana.
Okay.
And I grew up middle school. I through elementary school, and then from elementary, I moved to Pittsburgh, and from middle school, high school, university, I attended it.
Okay, and then Indiana. Who do we know that's from Indiana? I'm trying to think. There's somebody. There's a comedian. David Letterman. That's right. Okay, that's what I thought. I knew somebody.
There's few. I can't think off the top of my head, so it must not be that important. But
no, they're important. All right, so you're in California.
Michael Jackson's from Indiana as well, Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, that's right.
And the funny thing about Michael Jackson is he's actually Neverland is just right 45 minutes, half hour behind me.
Oh, right in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in Buellton, Los Alamos.
Okay, and then you're in San Bernardino.
No, I'm in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I apologize, man. I'm from the West Coast. So.
Yeah. No, they have strange names. Like they came out here and had a hard time even saying the street names because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
Okay.
All right. It's all good. All right. So, all right. Tell us a little bit about yourself because you've worked with some bands out in California. One of the stories that I found really fascinating was how you worked with one of the bands. And a band that a lot of people that listen to reggae may know, and there was some problems with the track, and you fixed it. And then tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, I've worked with when I came out to California, I had a dream of having like a record label. Along my journey, I ended up building a multi-track recording studio, so I could pick it up and go to nightclub and just track it. And So I've worked with like probably 50 bands during that duration, and it was we did it in State Street in Santa Barbara, and there were three of us. We had myself, a gentleman named James Stryker, who is an incredible recording engineer, and then we had a gentleman named Michael Livingston, and so we had like a little. Basically, what I did was I put, how do I explain it? I built this recording studio. I was printing T-shirts out of my kitchen, like it was crazy.
So okay, so you're building a studio, and then you're also selling t-shirts in your kitchen.
Yeah, I had a silk screen production.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Then we printed the CD. Like so, every time we recorded a band, we actually had a printer, and we would print, and the top of it as well as the bottom, and compress it, shrink wrap it out the door.
Okay, so you were like a studio and t-shirt business, CDs. Oh man, that's crazy, man. But
like I saw a niche. Like it was like everything was making it was so you could do it from home.
Yeah.
You know, where before, it cost you lots and lots of money to do something. Well, I saw that the future was in-house recording studios, and that was 2009,
okay.
2008, something like that. And I brought it in-house.
So how many bands have you worked with, out in California? Would you say approximately since you started?
Quite a few, but during that duration, when I was at Santa Barbara, we were on State Street recording out of a nightclub called Zealous. So we worked out there, and I probably ran about 50 bands.
Okay.
And during that duration, and so what we did was we tracked them, and then recorded them with video cameras. So like this was, like I said, 13 years ago, 9 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
So it's way ahead of its time. Not until later did other people start. We really had Apple.
Okay. So now you've been, and big shout out to Eddie Montalvo that's listening. Thank you, and thank you so much for the message here about the audio. I think we might have fixed it. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're gonna continue now. Now you've been doing this. You've been working with bands, and one of the bands that you worked with, you said there was some audio issues or something. The track was messed up, and the what was it? The recording company gave you that track to fix it, and you did, right? Is that what I understood?
Sort of like that. So we ended up, in the circles I ran with a lot of musicians and so on, photographers, creative types, and one specific band. The name is Revolution. It's a reggae band out of Isla Vista, California, Santa Barbara. If you don't know where Isla Vista is basically UCSB. It's their hub, and the whole town is taken over by the university. That's what it is. When you go to Isla Vista, you're on UCSB's campus. So anyway, a friend of ours, well, the gentleman I was mentioning, Michael Livingston, was friends with Marley, the bass player for Revolution, and found out that they had an issue with their bass. So Revolution got signed to a record label. They gave them so much money to record. They recorded it, but the record label didn't like some of the tracks, and they had to record parts. But they had already spent all the money, and they needed some help, sort of, with a couple of the tracks. And what we did was offered our recording studio. And again, they didn't have the cash to pay, so we were like, well, let's do a trade. Why don't you throw a show for us in Del Playa, and let us record it, and we'll record those tracks for you for nothing. It's not for nothing, but you can come in and utilize our recording studio. And this is we converted a 3-car garage into a recording studio, so it was in our house too. So I had a recording studio and all that stuff, and they did it. We recorded the tracks for them. It was a smooth deal. We gave it back to them. The record label wasn't too pleased that they threw the show for us, but it was fun. It was lots of fun.
All right, so then you went out. You exchange was to get the band. You said, look, I'll fix the track for you, but you guys got to perform for me.
Well, it wasn't like if they said no, we still would have helped them. You know what I mean? They just got signed to a label. You don't want to see one of your friends. You know what I mean? If they're a friend of a friend, you can help them out. We were in touch. We had access to technology that would cost a lot of money at the time. We spent, I think we spent $8,000 to build a recording studio, and we were all mic'd up good mics, like Neumann's, and it's really, really good mics because we worked at Seymour Duncan, so we got discounts for mics, and we just had the way we positioned ourselves at our jobs. It was more to, well, this help my business. So I'd have a 9 to 5 working as a purchasing agent for Seymour, And James, our recording engineer, he was Seymour's recording, like one of his recording
Nice. Okay,
engineers.
cool. So yeah, big shout out to Doug that's listening, Doug Kaplan. Thank you so much for tuning in, Doug. So then now you had the band. Once you
Mhm.
fixed everything and you got these guys on board, you said bring them out to the beach. So you did like a whole concert to the beach, and thousands of people showed up, right? From
Oh yeah, no joke. Like it was a lot of people. Like if you know Santa Barbara, there's like if you map quest it really quick or whatever, like look on above. Santa Barbara, UCSB, this town of Isla Vista is on a cliff. The whole university is on a cliff. Ocean right in front of you when you look out the windows from your classes. And there's a road there called Del Playa, and this is where we were throwing the concert. It was at actually Revolution's house. I believe some of them or all of them lived at this house called the Marley House, which while you
okay,
drive down Del
like,
Playa,
okay.
pardon me?
No, they were like a reggae band, and it's at the Marley House. Did
Yeah.
they name it Marley House? It was just the name of that area of that house.
No, for years the house had a big picture, like a giant mural of Bob Marley on the side of it,
Got it. Okay.
and so it's called the Marley House. Just happened to be that the bass player for Revolution's name is Marley.
Oh, okay.
So we went to the Marley House, and through the concert, we didn't get any permits. We just threw a house party. It was out of Vista, like it's
So it's
college town.
right onto the beach. Thousands of people showing up.
It wasn't the beach; it was on a cliff, like the
On the
cliff
cliff.
overlooking the beach. The beach,
Oh
like
yeah, you did
people
say that.
fall off that cliff every year, like during Halloween in
Oh my
Isla
God.
Vista. Someone always falls off the cliff. Someone
Oh my God.
always does. The houses, like you're a college kid drinking, and your house is on a cliff, looking like 100 feet down. Yeah,
Oh my
it's pretty
God.
crazy. It's beautiful campus.
All right, but so now this whole big concert, just happens to come out. Thousands of people showing up. The cops get there. They try to shut it down, but there was just too many people.
They understand. I don't think they understood what was happening because we didn't get any permits. We didn't ask. We were just, we weren't trying to cause problems, but we weren't really worried about it.
Okay.
I don't know what we were thinking, but we didn't get any permits. We threw a show. These guys just signed a record label. Everybody knows about them. They already had a following ahead of time, and we just throw an improv concert. When you say, "Oh, Revolution's throwing an improv concert down here," we didn't throw up any flyers or anything. Next thing you know, just people start filtering in. Like in the streets, the street got blocked for, I don't know, a couple of blocks down. The police came and whatnot.
It's a big party.
Yeah. They didn't stop it. We just continued until it was done, and then when it was done, we packed up our stuff and took off.
That's funny. That's great.
True story. Yeah, it's really crazy. Like those little things that happen in life. Like I don't know how I got there. I mean, it's just like someone said, "Hey, someone needs some help." And we're like, "Let's help them," and it ended up being these other people. And we're like, "Well, let's try see if they'll throw a show for us." Because we've seen them. They're big around Isla Vista before that all happened. They were a local college band that was big.
All right, awesome. All right, so then now I want to switch gears a little bit because I found you from something that you said that we were talking the other day, and I was like, man, this guy's done so much, man, in such a short period of time. So you leave Pittsburgh, and you said your parents left you there for a couple of years with your brother, right?
Yeah.
They moved out west to California.
Yeah,
and
for job transfer.
Okay, so then you chose you finished school. You were still a high school kid.
Mm-hmm.
Finish school, then you go out to California. What happens then? You just, how did you get into this world of music, and how did that evolve? Just helping out?
No, it was I've always like sort of lived outside the box and follow my own rules or stuff. I've always been like very polite. I've always been very, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to take advantage of, or like but at the same time, I want to live this other lifestyle. And so I actually went to the University of Pittsburgh, and when I was there as a freshman, I got a job running nightclubs, and I don't know how I fell into that circle, but I did. And so I was running nightclubs and then music. So I started working with musicians, and then when I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, I was like, even while I was there, I was like, I want to just like, I want to do clothing. I want to do like have a record label. I love music. I was a roadie for this band called while I was in school, like managing these nightclubs. Well, a nightclub. I was a roadie for this ska band called the Scoblins out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and so like I was just involved in it, and that's what I liked. My mom, when I was a kid, she always gave me new music, and I was always onto it. So I was like, people that's like, where you hear, I hear things that people never heard of, and wouldn't be hot for another like 4 or 5 months. Okay. Same with fashion, so kind of thing. And
yeah, you're big into fashion now too. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But you're now with COVID, because you were supposed to be streaming some of these bands and stuff like that. Now because of COVID, it's kind of slowed you down a little bit. But do you have stuff lined up once the stuff, once we get back to normal, quote
Yeah,
unquote normal?
yeah.
You have something lined up? Are you working with guys and talking to people already, or how's that going to work out for you?
No, I keep moving. Like I understand that the world's at halt. No one really knows when this is sort of going to what's going to transpire. So, um, but I'm the kind of person that just keeps moving. Like I'm assuming it's got to stop at some time. Like
Sure.
so, I've been teaching myself new skills. Like I got the Sling Studio and so on, and doing work with that and learning the skills. I just met up with the audio engineer yesterday to sort of explain some problems I was having with the audio. So just moving forward, I've always wanted to progress in my life, not fall backwards. I
Sure.
don't like to do that. I understand what's going on, but yes, I do. I've been continuously lining up, working with bands, talking to bands about private life, like one-on-one live streams for
Sure.
like private showings, and I have festivals lined up. So I was working the one that just got canceled, the one at the beginning of the summer that just got canceled. I'm waiting to hear back from. It's called Shebang, and
And
it's a bunch of it's again. I like indie bands. I really like the big ones. Like that's great, but my thing is like I like to see who's coming up, who's going to
now,
be hot
how
next.
do people follow that if they want to hear some of these indie bands and what you're doing and some of your work, watch your work? How can they find that? Is there a website? Is there an Instagram page? Is there something that they can follow you, or kind of like this is still not, it's still kind of grassroots type?
Oh, it's definitely this part of the company is so the other thing with the bands we were talking about before.
Right.
That was a different company, and me and my business partners we split up and went other directions. But I wanted to continue doing what I was doing, but I wasn't a recording engineer, so I spent the last, I think, 3.5 years rebuilding a new brand. So I had an actually eco-friendly brand called 37 Apparel, which I set to the side. It was made out of hemp fabric. I made it in the USA. Hats, T-shirts, reversible blue jeans. I
Okay.
put that to the side. Started a new company, which is this one that I have. But to see the things that I'm doing, I have it connected. I purchased the multi-camera live stream to as a marketing tool to
Okay.
go record bands and do a cross promotion with my apparel line. So
Yeah, and we're going to talk about your apparel line because it's pretty hot, and I want people to see it.
and
Um,
so that's what I did with them, and you just yeah, go ahead, pardon me.
No, I said the apparel line. We're going to talk about that because, I mean, you're like a jack of all trades. Here you are. You leave Pittsburgh. You go out to California. You start getting involved with music. Then you start designing, apparel. Like, it's crazy. So one company you're now involved with, but then you said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company again, build it from scratch, and here you are. And I think it's pretty cool, man. I was looking at some of the stuff, and I plan to get some of the clothes and stuff. I think it's pretty neat.
Well,
So
thank you. It's a long time coming. It's just like you have an idea in your head. I can't explain it. It's like I know I can do this. I've seen people do it. That the technology, the access to these things are all at your fingertips. It's easier than ever now to do something like I'm doing.
yeah,
But
but
it's
what I
even
like about it,
scary.
it's made in the USA. That's big. Right now, people are
Mm,
a little bit upset.
yeah.
They're upset at China a little bit. So some of the stuff that you're bringing, I think your company is going to do well because of that. Because I think it's something that's made in the USA. You design
One
it.
second. That was from my previous company. Was the eco-friendly one, the one I had before. This one, a lot of the pieces are the new company that I'm wearing. This is a lot of the pieces are, but not 100%.
Okay.
It was difficult. So it's a little bit from I think uh, South America, and then a bit another like 50/50 USA and South America because some of the
Okay.
parts.
Okay. So we're gonna lean into that a little bit. Some of the line right now, you have a T-shirt and hat.
Oh
That's
yeah, I'm
on your
always
line.
shamelessly self-promoting myself.
Yeah. Why not?
Like what?
That's what we're here for, man. That's why I said I want to bring you on the show because I think you're fascinating. Before we lean on that, I just want to, because I want people to understand the background of how you got into this business because you do help other businesses. We spoke of that. We spoke a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and how you find these businesses and how you help them.
Yeah. So until my other things, my other businesses I'm starting are start to create revenue, I still
Right.
have to like survive.
Sure.
So I work uh, as a consultant. So for businesses that are struggling and aren't sure if they want to keep their doors open, or want to close down, and they need someone to like sort of an outsider looking in at their business to sort of see the whole big picture. And that's where I come in a lot. Like I've worked in the restaurant industries, music industries, apparel industries, and so on, just helping people do that. So it's just sort of I'm the eyes for businesses who like don't like they can't figure out why they're losing money, or they want to try to
Okay.
figure out, well, how can I implement, why isn't our marketing working, or and so like I'm just like I know how, and I sort of fell into it, and it's been very good for me. Like the last I've done this like for 3 different companies, and like I've started out with just the last three
I
businesses I
think
like
that's I
to.
think that's remarkable, man. And I compared you to Marcus Lemonis. If anybody watches Marcus Lemonis, the prophet, he's pretty cool what he does. Um, in the in rescuing business, and you do kind of the same thing. The only thing is that you don't take a stake in the business, but I think that you looked a percentage. But I think you went into partnership with the last business that you spoke to, right? Is that correct? Am I correct in assuming that? Or
Yeah, the well, um, what I did was the first couple I wasn't sure if I could do what I was thinking I could do, and it worked out. And then I went to this last business that I worked for, which I wrapped up at the end of January, beginning of February, and it was I decided that you know I wanted to have some sort of stake because it wasn't a business I was interested in. I wasn't learning anything. It was I like to go to places too where I'm going to learn something. I don't like to not learn. If I whatever I do, I want to be learning something new a little bit. And it just wasn't up my alley. But we decided on they gave me sort of it was a like a percentage of the profit. So whatever the numbers were last year, and I beat those numbers, like I get 25% of whatever
wow,
number it was.
okay,
Yeah, and it worked out. Like yeah, it was
so that's
really really
great.
good,
Right
and
now,
the company worked out pretty well.
that's awesome, man. I mean, and it's good to find opportunities, especially now, like the way things are going with the economy and all. But I just want to commend you. But let's switch gears a little because I definitely want to get. I want to lean in and talk a little bit about your company now with the clothing line. The name of the clothing line is Counterfeit Hero. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Counterfeit Hero is the name that I came up with. Hmm.
So how did you what was it? How did you come up with that name and what type of clothes? I'm gonna bring up the website. I want people to see that website. I think the clothes is pretty cool, man. How did you come up with that name? And that I know you had your business partner, and you kind of you left
Yeah, but
that.
he and I split a few years ago. Like that was like 4 years ago when he and I, even maybe even longer, like that he and I went our separate ways,
Sure.
and it took me like 4 years to rebuild and think of how to, because I was focused on the eco-friendly part of it. Like 10 years ago with my other line, that was what I wanted made in the USA. But to rebuild something like this by yourself, the finances and stuff, and I pay for everything by myself. That's why I keep a second job. Like I just don't depend on the influx of the business from this or my
Right.
marketing company. It's like how many. When growing up, my mom always said, "Have as many tools as you can in your belt." Basically, having a bunch of fingers in a bunch of different pies, and that's what I do. So when one stream of revenue is not coming in, I've got that stream of revenue or two more streams of revenue coming this way.
Awesome. All right, so let's check this out. I want to bring your website because I think it's pretty neat.
Thanks.
Um, and this is the clothing line right here. This is Counterfeit Hero. That's your website. And what I want to do is I want to go um, into the stuff. Let's go into stuff here. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. All right, so let's go into his and we'll go over the hers. So there's a couple of things that you sell here on your site.
Yeah.
Now I found this very interesting. This one shirt here. I want you to talk about it. It's called the Golden Girl. You named it the Golden Girl. Tell us why and what that picture is.
Well, I enjoy photography, but I never really sell my stuff. And everyone's always told me, "Hey, Jason, you should sell it." And that's where the inspiration for this whole line of clothing came from. I just take photos of things I find interesting. And this specific picture is it's actually, and I take things that are questionable that are but relevant with the current times, depending how you view things, I guess. But these are just my points of view on things,
Okay.
and so this specific shirt, the Golden Girl one, this was taken at in San Simeon in California, which is about 2 hours north of me,
Okay.
and it's on the property of William Randolph Hearst, who was the out of his like on his bedroom balcony. like, and he has these two like golden statues. There's one on this side, and there's another one on the far left, but you can't. But he was the, if you don't know who William Randolph Hearst is, he was the founding father of yellow journalism, which is basically the issues that we're having with the current day media. Everything's biased. It's not the truth. In some cases, I'm sure it is, but he was the founding father of that. And how I see that picture, may say maybe differently than the way that you see that photo. Maybe our perception of it's the same thing, but it's that's what that specific one is. But everything's controversial. Like that is the guy who made up, said it was okay to, mix up the media a little bit, like sort of slant the truth. Payoffs are cool, kind of thing. That was a guy, and now he has a huge like family. Like that's that castle that is taken at. It's they brought the stones in brick by brick. It's a huge castle. He used to have zebras and stuff going around. All the famous people from Hollywood would roll up. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. But the question is he was a founding father of yellow journalism.
Okay, and then we have this other one that's it's called Dead Bee.
That was I was in Chicago. I was in Chicago and I saw that. I had the bigger photo of a lot of these that were alive, but it's again like I want to draw a question to what is this and what is happening here. Like people overlook these little things in life, like that small little bee right there. That makes the apple you had this afternoon. That's what created that. But they're dying, and everyone knows they're dying. I want these things that I put on these clothing, these images are. I think I want to draw question and conversation. They're supposed to be. They're pieces of art almost. It's a conversation piece where you're asking me right now what that is. My point of view again is maybe different than yours. On bees aren't that important. Ladybugs do the same thing, whatever it may be. But it's drawing attention to an issue.
Sure. And we got Kevin joining us, and thank you for tuning in. Kev, shout out to you. All right, and Dan Z-Man says 5G kills them. Yes, and that was my point. That's what I was going to come up to. A lot right now, what's going on in the environment with these 5G towers. Yes, I was watching a video and reading an article the other day on how these 5G towers that are popping up are killing bees, and bees are essential to pollinating and making sure that we have food and honey but these towers, man. I mean, so when I saw that shirt, that resonated with me, man, because that's something that I've been like, I'm not crazy about these 5G towers, and now I see this and it's like, wow, this is like an awakening. That's the way I took it in my interpretation of it. Is that you as the artist, as the photographer, and as the clothing design? Is that something that maybe you were trying to, make a statement or project to the person wearing the clothes?
Not only to the person, but the person viewing it. It's like I don't walk around looking at my front of my T-shirt all day. The guy at the corner store, the people that you talk to, your friends, it draws question, and that's what needs to be done in this day and age. Question. Yeah. Why is this happening? Why is this going on here? Why are these bees dying? Why are why is this guy being put on a pedestal for creating lies in the news? It doesn't. Things don't match.
Right.
But that's my point of view. It may not be the same as yours, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter because it's to draw question and conversation, and people learn from speaking to one another.
Well, I like it. I like the shirt. I think it says a lot.
You were mentioning the 5Gs with the bees, but there was another one. If you go down a little bit there, between the red and the tan shirt, there, the logo shirts. There's that. Yes, that one there, the black one, and that was taken in Paradise, California, where if you look at Paradise, I forget the population of it, but it's a small town, but it's a decent sized town. But no, the point is that town burnt down, the entire town. Like I went into this place after the fires, and it was all over the media, and it was you go down there and everything was burned except for like one house in the middle, and it was really strange how it happened. But everyone was like, oh, campers made the fires. Campers made the fires. Someone arson, this and that.
And this is the fires that are always going on in California, right? Was that
well? This one burnt more acreage than any other fire, I believe. This one, this wiped the town out, like totally flattened it. Like I couldn't believe it. It was so sad. People were like, I was out taking photos, and and people were in the rubble, like in the middle of their house, sitting like where their fireplace was. You can still see the brick stack behind them. They're sitting there just like this in tears. Like I didn't talk to them. I stepped back. You know, that's their. But what ended up happening after, in regard to that shirt, that photograph, that was when I heard about the fires. I was like, I'm gonna go check it out and see what's going on. And that was about 500 miles away from where I live. And I drove up there and checked it out and shot some photos and so on. And that photo that you see is the very first one I saw when I got there. I got out of my car and I turned around and that was right there in front of me.
And that's like a statue of Jesus, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and behind them you see like a burnt car and some trees that were burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very powerful photo, and to be wearing that, I mean, it's just a sign of the times. I mean, gosh, I mean, if you're religious, I think this would resonate with you. Uh, you know, I don't know if any lives were lost. I mean,
Yeah, there were lots of lives lost during that fire. There's actually an artist that worked for Disney that came up that same weekend, not with me. We were separate. Like I had nothing to do with him, but he was got permission from people to spray paint the deceased. I believe they're the deceased from the homes, and he graffitied on their. Like I took photos of that too, but yeah, people died there. Yeah, it's travesty. Like it was,
wow.
but it came down to they said that someone arsoned it, but it wasn't arson. Long story short, it was 5G. 5G spark jumped off, caught the town on fire, and then called bankruptcy. I think it was AT&T.
Wow.
If I'm not sure, I don't want to like say something, get in trouble.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I take
sure,
that
sure.
back. But it was definitely the 5G that like caught those fires.
All right, let's
Sparks
talk
just
some of the female clothing as well. Is there anyone in particular that you want to?
well, the images on the shirts follow the men's. It's all the same. But
Oh,
again, everything is sort of they're all exactly the same. The designs change for the female as in regard to cut, and then I have leggings for girls, and then the sundresses and things of that nature.
well, tell me about this one because I found this very interesting, and this is it's called the film. What is it? The Fillmore?
That's the Fillmore up in San Francisco, and and I in that image, I was walking down. I was in San Francisco, running around doing some stuff, and I always keep a camera with me, and this grabbed me because I'd heard recently that they were getting ready to tear the Fillmore out, and the Fillmore is really famous. Everybody, David Bowie, you had the Grateful Dead, everybody, Fillmore, like that's the spot to be back in the day,
Sure.
the '60s. Well, they're tearing it out, and they were putting in new housing for people there in San Francisco. So
Wow.
it was just
This
a
was
piece
a nice.
of history that was. I think it may be gone. I have to double check.
Okay, so it was an iconic theater.
Mhm.
Lots of people performed there, and,
Yeah.
and it may not be there anymore. I mean, that's crazy. But you caught maybe I think you told me you caught probably one of the last pictures of that areas.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing I like to do is like when things are changing, when I see construction work happening, like before that house goes down or they demolish the apartment building, and I don't sell these photos. I do it for it's just something. It's a hobby. This was all photography was just a hobby. Like I was just like, and it sort of fell into my apparel line, and I was like, well, let's do it. So, but I usually just like if they're tearing down like the I don't know the old whatever market on the corner, I'll get a couple good shots of it, and then I'll go back after something was rebuilt and retake that photo again a few years later. So I have stacked like stuff in the back, and I don't know why I do it, but I just do. It's just change of the architecture, it's change of the scenery. I don't know.
Okay. And then you also mentioned some of the women's clothing line that you have here as well.
Yeah.
Sundresses, some.
Yeah, I have more designs coming out. That was just so these are the beginnings. You get the sundresses, the skirts, and the leggings for the girls. Lots of logo shirts. If you go in between like the logos on the orange one there, that's actually like letters of like I took pictures of a polluted beach. I think on that one was that polluted the one with the
this one here.
yeah the dirty beach shirt. So inside the letters, there's actually if you look closely at it, it's a polluted beach in India.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So when you look at it, so I sort of try to set it up that way where you have to look a little bit closer, or the messages are hidden within the writing, so to say.
Oh, that's pretty unique, man. I like that. I think
So I
that's
think,
pretty
and
cool.
that's what I wrap it around. Is like questionable. These things are questionable. These things are happening in the world, and I've been working on this for a while, and I've just released it at the beginning of the year, and then the pandemic hit, and now I'm like I have to stand back a little bit. Well, actually, I launched two businesses at the beginning of the year. I have a media company that I launched, which I do product photography, wedding stuff like that, and then I do drone work for real estate companies, and then the live streaming as well.
All right, so we're gonna put that up on the screen there. Uh, you can get his apparel at the on his website, and I think that's pretty neat, man. What?
Yeah, I think what did you put up there? That's a link. Oh, that's a link for that shirt. You know, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, that's the link for the shirt. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back and put the actual. It's counterfeithero.com. You guys want to go in there and support this young man and what he does. I mean, I think this is pretty cool. I'm gonna let me get that. Let me get that for you and put it up there so people can see it. We'll take that one down. Let me just take those down. Yeah, put that up. That way people could see it. They can click on the link. I think that should be it. All right. That's it. Counterfeithero.com. You guys could get clothes there, couple shirts. I'm going to get one. I like the bean. I think that's cool. It opens up conversations. I'm not happy with the 5G thing. I think it's crazy. So I think that's my way to start a conversation. If anybody asks me, what the dead bees about. So
Yeah,
I think I'm
it's
going to do one.
amazing. And conversation goes a long way, and then people around you come around and start talking about the same thing. It's like you're wearing a gallery.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like it. It's like, yeah, it's exactly. It's like getting a piece of art on your clothes and wearing it. It sparks conversation. So I think that's pretty cool. So after COVID, I can wear that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so yeah, man. So oh my God, Jason. I mean, it's really a pleasure speaking with you. You guys, by the way, you can catch this stream. Give me a like and a subscribe. You can catch this on Facebook and YouTube. If you want to know a little bit more about Jason Felts, you can go to his website on counterfeithero.com. You can check out his clothes, give him a like, and check him out. Anything you want to say to anybody watching that may be interested, or something that a point that you want to come across or say something.
I think, yeah, I would. It's like when everyone used to stay patient, I think, and stay safe. This is going to be over soon, and it's not going. It's the world's not going to be the same. It won't. It's not going to be the same normal that we were used to living before. It's everything. I feel is going to change.
Mhm.
Maybe for the best, maybe for not so best. But we're not going to be cooped up like prisoners like this for much longer. I believe. In my
Yeah,
heart,
I
I
don't
believe
think
it's
so.
going to be so. It's people are going to start going out and going back to our daily lives. They're going to be changed quite a bit, but just stay strong in what you're doing, and work towards something positive, learn something new while you're cooped up at this time. It's very. How often are you just given time to make the best of this situation? Is all I'm saying. Just make the best of it. And
Thank you, man. Yeah, and I can't agree with you more. Chris, thank you for joining us as well. He says, click on the bell to see when you go live. Yeah, please, if you don't mind, everybody that's watching, just click on the icon, the bell icon. That way you'll get a notification of when we go live. I do appreciate that, Chris, for tuning in and putting that up there on the screen. So, yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I believe the same thing. I think we just got to be patient, stay indoors, wash your hands. It is what it is. Hopefully, we can start getting back to some normalcy before before June rolls around, because that's full out blown summer here in the East Coast and New York. And I wouldn't love more than anything to be outdoors, maybe riding a bike and just enjoying the weather. So I can't wait for that part.
yeah, there's a lot of people in New York. You guys, and that's a situation there. I don't know how people are handling that in like large populated areas. Like I'm
Yeah.
fortunate. I'm not in that situation where I'm a little bit outside the cities, so I can go outside a little bit more freer. But there are a lot, like I sort of wonder how that works there in those larger cities.
Yeah, it's a little tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. I had to get out the other day and just walk around and just get some exercise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I'm really, really happy that this hopefully this is coming to a close. And listen, Jason, thank you so much for joining me here on Let's Talk, man. You're definitely very interesting to interview, and the things that you're doing out there in California. I really do appreciate you, and we want to make sure that whoever wants to get any of the merchandise that you sell, some of your fashion, your clothing line, it's on counterfeithero.com. Make sure you guys tune in and check that out. Go to the website, go buy a t-shirt or something. All right. So, Jason, once again, thank you, man. I really do appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
we'll keep in touch.
Absolutely, George. Thank you for having me on.
I
You have a
appreciate
good evening. Take care.
All right. You too, man. All right, so that's basically it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Let's Talk. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis. I'm gonna bring people that are interesting, maybe talented. They may play some music, whatever. I mean, they actors, actresses, whatever. We'll put them on the show and showcase them for you guys, so you guys can check that out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Give us a thumbs up. Give me a like, share the link, and we really do appreciate you guys. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys next week, 8 o'clock, Saturday, on Let's Talk.